My name is Jasmine Jones, and I am a licensed clinical social worker, and you are now watching Black Girl, a Therapist in the Wild, and this is a little show I like to call Therapist Sips and Reviews. And today we are reviewing Abbott Elementary Season 4, Episode 12, Girard Creek, and we are sipping on Blueberry Stella Rosa that's been in my refrigerator for 4 months. Got tired of all that milky shit. How doing? I'm doing the best we can be doing. How's your apocalypse going? My apocalypse is, there's a lot of dissociation and anger and because, I've always been afraid of planes, but I sucked it up when I got enough money as an adult to be able to travel and see the world and do shit, right? And now, because this nigga, bitch made orange nigga, has gutted the FAA, the Aviation Safety Board, and all this other shit. Now that fear of flying has skyrocketed through the roof. Before I was like, okay, planes don't crash that often. It's less likely for me to die. I can do this. I can travel the world and do shit because I'm not going to let fear hold me back from doing shit. That's one thing I don't let fear do. Like, if I want to do something and some shit is standing in my way to do something, I'm going to bypass the fear and just do the thing, right? So, yeah, I did. But now, like, 2 planes done crashed into each other, a helicopter and a plane. Another plane crashed in Philadelphia. And then, this plane was on fire. United Airlines, this today. Right? I want to travel this year. I didn't travel last year. I went to Vegas for my birthday. That's all I did last year because I was saving money and paying down my credit cards. And, I want to travel this year. My birthday's coming up. I want to do some nice shit for myself. And now I'm just like, Lord, is this your message to tell me to just stay in this country right now? Because I really don't want to. I want to at least pretend I live in somewhere else for a little bit. Like 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there. And I'm just appalled. But I don't know what to do. Build community and shit and stack your money, y'all, and have a get out plan, just like in the show, have a get out plan. Right now my only get out plan is that I've watched so many episodes of Naked and Afraid that I feel like I could live in the wilderness. Of course not naked, and of course with the optimal supplies that you need to live in the wilderness. And, go find me a cave in Big Bear and shit and make that into a home, because there's a lot of caves in the mountain that you could just turn that shit into a home. All you need is water, fire. First you need, from Naked and Afraid, first you need fire for warmth and to cook food and to boil water, shelter, water, protein. I got fixated on Naked and Afraid. I just be getting fixated on random shit for like a certain period of time. So I got fixated on Naked and Afraid for, I believe, about 2 weeks and binge watched half the series before I got bored of seeing these people running around naked in the woods. Eventually it's going to pick back up and I'm just going to binge watch it again. But it'll come back around to fixation. It's neurodivergency for you. It's a magical thing. Because when you hyperfixate on that right thing, you can hyperfixate on some shit that make you a millionaire or billionaire, bitch. So ain't nothing wrong with neurodivergency, I tell you what. But I've seen enough of them episodes where I learned that you need protein to survive. Like, your body will deteriorate rapidly. So now every time I eat some protein, in the back of my head, I'll be like, I have my protein for today. Have my protein steak. If you don't drink water in like 2 days or some shit, you'll just die. I have my water today. So, I feel like I could be enough prepared to live in the wilderness. Now, if the wilderness is on some fallout shit and everything is radiated and, I become mutated and shit, like, nigga, because I'm not rich enough to be cryogenically frozen like the white people and the rich people in the bunkers. So I'm gonna be up top with the rest of these niggas that they left behind. I just grow another arm out my stomach or some shit while I'm living in a cave with my cat. Until I die. So, that's my get out plan. It used to be buy a boat and have a little slip to sit it in, and then, find me a deserted island that I could just sell that motherfucker to. Because there's millions of deserted islands in the world that rich people haven't bought. And just, sail away. They can't stop you from sailing. They might be able to blow up your plane, but it's, a boat is a little bit, as long as you can get it out there into the ocean. It just need to be big enough to withstand, like, oceanic storms and giant waves. And at some point I had thought I was going to learn how to drive a boat and everything. Would have been a whole situation. A little houseboat. I seen somebody turn a tugboat into a houseboat. Them things are pretty big. They big as a yacht and shit. Just going through my apocalypse plans. Just, last week I started reading Revelations, and shit was looking too similar, and I got scared and closed the book. And anyways, this episode of Abbott Elementary. Y'all better have you some apocalypse plans, because you too can have plans if you're poor, okay? There is a lot of vacant natural land out there. We are not overpopulated. We are just densely populated in these small areas across America. There is millions of acres of vacant natural forest land that you could live in away from people and pray that they never find you in the woods. You just have to watch enough Naked and Afraid and find the right tools and kits that you need to be out in the wilderness and shit. I have a Wrangler. That shit is supposed to be good for driving through wooded areas and all sorts of shit. So I feel like that's the best I'm gonna be able to do. Is, be a wilderness bitch. Cause like what? Give me one of them portable showers and them, the water filtration system things instead of having to boil water, and like them bitches that be living in the vans and shit, like, God, I'm so scared. I don't care what you're talking about, okay? I don't care. I'm scared. Niggas out here, they want to fight, they mad and all this. I'm just tired and scared, okay? I just, like, all I can do is plan enough for myself to get the hell up out of here and just leave all this shit behind and go into the wilderness somewhere and hope that these evil white motherfuckers never find me as they destroy the earth. Like, or just to get rich enough to buy a boat still. I feel like the boat would be the best idea, because then I have a whole separate land structure to myself. Away from the mainland that's going to be like where the nuclear bombs is going to start falling and shit, because these motherfuckers is mad at Trump and shit. Girl. Anyway, so the golf course people invited the school to come and see the golf course, to bring all the kids in the school to see the golf course and all this other shit. I was like, ain't there like about, in the regular elementary school, like about at least 2,000 or 3,000 kids or some shit? Like, it's a television show. They're not gonna act like there's 2,000 or 3,000 kids in that school. And then they're gonna bring them all to this little itty bitty golf course, and 2,000 or 3,000 kids just run around school. Maybe they just pick specific teachers, and I don't fucking know. No, that's a big trip. But they be going to the park, but the park is like, that's a woodland area. I don't fucking know how they doing this. Well, anyway, they go to this place, and to start off with, they in the kitchen area, and Janine talking about how she booked this reservation to this fancy Parisian Paris restaurant and shit like that, and her friend canceled because she has some shit to do, because she's not gonna invite Gregory, because Gregory has like this sensory disorder where he can't eat certain foods and shit. Because I feel like they trying to act like he's not autistic, talking about he his parents were traumatizing him, and I had to look it up. I was just like, you know what? What's going on with Gregory? Now I had to go and take my and put my big old therapist hat on, which I don't tend to like to do because then I have to get technical and theoretical and research shit and look up stuff and just to make sure that I don't get this wrong. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So anyways, there is something called like a sensory processing disorder that you can have without being autistic, right? So that means that like your sensory stuff is like overly sensitive, like your sense of taste, your sense of touch, your sense of smell and shit like that. So there are only certain things that you can have against your skin, or you can't be in certain lights, and you can have that shit without autism. It's a separate thing. It's just that people that are autistic tend to have it, right? So that's why you have to have other things on top of it to be diagnosed as autism. So he tried to say that, because his dad traumatized him and he could only eat certain types of food, and so now he never got to try nothing new. But then why at the end of the show, when I was at the Paris restaurant, he was acting like he liked everything, but he didn't. He was pretending. But I had to go back and I had to look and I had to be like, what are the symptoms of autism, right? Let me take a sip of this because I'm in between two different worlds right now. I'm in limbo and shit. I had to pull out my DSM-5 and shit. Got me pulling out this big ass fucking book. I was like, what is the symptoms of autism? And so we got the sensory issues. We got the issues with maintaining and understanding relationships and social concepts and things like that, and having motor movement issues like lining up your toys and flipping objects and echolalia and things like that. So that's like the routines that they develop to help them center and calm themselves, are the stimming things that people with autism develop, like tapping or rocking back and forth and shit like that. And flexible adherence to routines and ritualized patterns, verbal or nonverbal behavior, highly restricted fixated interests that are abnormal in intensity or focus, hyper or hypo activity to sensory input, and unusual interest in sensory aspects of the environment, right? So he got some shit going on, right? And then I had to go and look at the episodes where I saw that he had other shit going on besides the eating situation. No, because I'm not crazy. I don't just step up here and be diagnosing motherfuckers just off the top of my motherfucking head. So I went back and I was like, well, in season 2, episode 21, Mom, he had to be taught small talk, right? When he bought Legos. And then there was the episode when he bought Legos for his girlfriend and then realized that she didn't like Legos. He was just so fixated because he liked Legos. And he just could not comprehend that she wouldn't like Legos. That ain't got nothing to do with trauma. Or when, like he had multiple episodes where he was just fixated on his own little hobbies and didn't realize that his partners they didn't like those hobbies, right? And then, like, Ava had to teach Gregory how to have nuance when speaking on the panel in season 3, episode 8 panel, like, because he didn't understand that he couldn't just spit out the facts. He has to have nuance and style when you got to be like TED talkers and shit, nigga. Like, you can't just be sitting up there like, I like to teach the students. The students like the garden. The garden is pretty. It helps the students to congregate together and it's magic. No, he had to like go in depth, and Ava had to walk him through the steps of it, right? And then season 1, episode 8, Work Family, when Melissa and Barbara had to teach Gregory to be less strict with his students because he didn't understand. And that could have been half trauma, half neurodivergency, right? Like, I'm hyper-focused on these students getting this right, so we're going to miss recess until you get this right. And then Melissa and Barbara had to come in and teach him nuance of socializing with the students for him to be like, oh, I didn't know that they were reacting that way to me, and I might not have been the greatest teacher in that moment, right? Season 1, episode 7, art teacher Gregory's fixation on gardening, when he secretly keeps fixing Jacob and Barbara's garden and shit. That's his fixation, right? He couldn't stay away from it. And that could have been partially trauma. And there's something called comorbidity, where you can have multiple things at once, right? So you can be depressed and anxious at the same time. You can be autistic and ADHD at the same time. They call them ADHDs and shit. Season 3, episode 3, Garden Goofballs, when Gregory gives overly factual bad dating advice to the kids and telling this little boy that he needs to break up with his girlfriend and shit. Like, when you think of autism, they say it's a spectrum, right? It's not a spectrum like a straight line, like you got extremes on one end or the other, right? No, it's a spectrum like a circle within a circle within a circle, right? Think of like a bullseye, right? Circle within a circle within a circle. Then you got these little dots on each circle, right? And the more you go up in the circle, so we have these circles in each other, right? And then you're going up, and the more you go up, the more you have this thing. The more you go down towards the center of the circle, the less you have this thing, or vice versa, depending on who's talking to you and what they want it to be, the high, the up and the down for them, right? So like, let's say one dot is social skills. Let's say one dot is fixation. Let's say one dot is sensory issues. Let's say one dot is, what else was in there? Rituals and routines, right? And so you don't have to have all that shit to be autistic. And it depends on the person where their dots lie. Some people, their social skills dot can be all the way at the top of the circles, and they have that more than they have sensory issues. So their sensory issue dot would be more towards the center of the circles. And some people have fixation issues, which would be more towards the outside of the circle, while their rituals and routines might be more towards the center of the circle. I think Gregory has sensory issues more towards the outside of the circles. He has fixations more towards the outside of the circles. Remember the Legos and the gardening and the rituals and routines that he's very strict about. And I think he has, did I say fixations, social cues, because he has to be told these things that would probably seem more obvious to neurotypical folks and stuff like that. Now, trauma can affect those things. And, I saw this meme once and it said, we haven't really got a good idea of what a healthy autistic person looks like, because the world usually tends to traumatize autistic people for being different. So a lot of autistic people are walking around masking and pretending to be something that they're not. And so a lot of autistic people are traumatized, right? So it's hard to tell what a healthy, happy, functioning autistic person that's free in the world and doesn't have to mask. And I would say more higher functioning. Higher functioning in my terms means that how much help do you need in the world? The lower functioning you are, the more help you need. The higher functioning you are, you need help, but you may not be needing help on like a hospitalized or a nurse or a ongoing caregiver basis, but you may need extra support from your friends and your family and things like that when you go through shit, right? And so like, you got these different tiers and these different levels of functioning and stuff like that, to where when you're the highest functioning, a lot of people can't tell, but then the highest functionings are the ones that tend to be masking the most. So you can't even really tell what a healthy, high functioning, needs less help in the world autistic person would actually look like, because they're not allowed to be free in the world, because they're told when they go to therapy in certain spaces that they have to mask. ABA. And so like, Gregory's autistic. I don't know what you're talking about. He's just traumatized autistic. Like, that's why he don't like to eat the food, and his reaction to not eating the food is more expressive, probably because he's been traumatized too at the same time. But like, no, like he has a lot of different shit going on to say that he got some shit going on outside of, well, my dad made us eat certain foods every week, every day, and separated the foods and they couldn't touch. And so, no, girl. No, girl, no, because that was making me upset. I was just like, look at him. No, when he had that little meltdown, I was like, oh, he had a little autistic meltdown. I don't see what's wrong being autistic. That shit is fucking amazing. Like, especially when you don't need as much help in the world and shit, and you can like hyper fixate on shit to the point where like you can create something in like a couple days and become a billionaire. There's God, I don't care what you're talking about. Yep. No, it's not a bad thing at all. It's amazing. It's an amazing thing to have. You know, we need to be treating people with respect, and it's a good representation to have on the television that one of the main people on the show could potentially have some shit like that, because they often have shows with like autistically coded characters, but they won't call them autistic. They'll just call them weird and shit. Oh, where's Bob? He's weird. He's a little goofy. He's a little random and shit. We don't know what's wrong. They're the bullied character in the show or some shit like that, right? Because I got neurodivergencies, and I think that shit is what makes me fucking amazing and shit. Like, I don't know, I might be autistic. I haven't been formally diagnosed, but knowing myself and knowing the symptoms of autism and knowing and taking the autistic test online and being someone who's diagnosed clients with autism, I'm probably autistic. But you know, it is what it is. Fuck it. And so, you know, no, that nigga's autistic. He's not just traumatized and shit. He has too many things going on. Like, you had to teach him way too many times social skills. That wasn't like, and my thing is, that's not social anxiety, because he's not anxious to talk to people. He's just overly blunt and to the point when he talks to people. And so, like, you know, but he still talks to people. He's not scared to talk to people. He eats lunch in his car because in the beginning of the fucking show, not because he's scared to talk to people and shit, but because, I don't know, he just like being by himself. That's another qualifier of autism. They like to isolate and shit like that, you know? But no. He get annoyed when you talk shit about what he eats or some shit like that. And maybe he was a little anxious about that. But, I don't see symptoms of social anxiety, like he can't talk to people. He just don't know how to talk to people in a way that neurotypicals can understand. But when he talks to Ava, and he talks to, like an episode where he was learning how to do small talk, right? And the lunch lady was like mad at him because he didn't know how to do small talk right, because he was trying to mask. Because he thought that if he did small talk like everybody else, then he would like get closer to people, and he was trying to mask, but it turned out it looked weird and awkward. And then he talked to Melissa and what is it, Melissa and Barbara, and they basically was teaching him how to do small. I mean, it was Ava too. I don't know. And was teaching the teachers was teaching him how to do small talk, right? And then he learned that, oh, I don't have to do small talk. I can just do regular talk. And when he overheard the lunch lady talking about whatchamacallit, that she liked the Orioles or whatever, the sports team. You don't know I'm not a sports person. And then he just jumped in the conversation like he was playing double dutch and shit. Like, oh, I like to, and just having a regular ass conversation, because it has, usually when people have neurodivergencies where it impacts their social skills and they're very blunt and things like that, and they just talk factually and to the point. They just want to talk about a topic that makes sense, not, oh, it's cold outside. Yeah, it is cold outside. You think it's gonna rain? Yeah, it's gonna rain. Maybe it might rain. Oh yeah, rain. Like what? We both know it's cold outside, love. Like, I don't. So no, I was just like, when he ran off after that man was trying to give him that ceviche wrapped watermelon shit, I probably would have tasted that. Like, this is one of those episodes where I just felt closer to Janine, and I don't usually feel that close to Janine, because she be like, I feel like Janine is me in my 20s, just anxious, overwhelmed, you know, just all over the place, right? Just all over the place emotionally. So when I see her, I get a little cringy, because I see myself in my 20s, and I'm just like, damn, you know, Shit, that's how I was looking. I just cared that much about what motherfuckers was thinking, wasn't I? Okay, it's fine. And so, like, I don't be trying to, like, that's probably a me thing. Like, no, I don't want to, I'm not that anxious anymore. I just don't like being bothered because people, I'm not that anxious anymore. I just don't like being bothered because people will look at me, see that I'm beautiful. I know I'm beautiful. Like, I know I'm fucking beautiful. It is what it is. It's not like something I'm conceited about. It's just, that's a fact. It's just, I am aware and I'm tall and whatever. And they will make up shit about me inside. And I can see it happening in real time because they start acting weird. Like I'm smiling at you just as a greeting and you're frowning at me. And I don't even know you. I don't even know you. I'm just walking past you and we made eye contact, so I smiled and you frowned at me. Like, okay. And, they make up shit about me in their head. And then they treat me based off of the shit they made up in their head instead of trying to actually get to know me. And that shit is fucking annoying and I don't feel like it. And it's happened so many times. And when I was younger, I thought it was something wrong with me. But when I healed and realized that I'm beautiful and I've been beautiful since I was a fucking child, and that's why my mom put me in modeling classes and shit. And she used to do photography, and so she would take photography type pictures of me and shit like that. That's why. And I was just like, oh, people were mean to me because I was pretty and shit, and like pretty and weird. I was pretty and weird, pretty and annoying. But like, because I was pretty and annoying, but still like a nice person and shit, they didn't know how to interact with me. So they just either took advantage of my kindness or whatever. So it's like a weird ass, I don't know, jealousy. I don't fucking know. I don't care. Like literally, it's okay to be beautiful or whatever. But like, I don't want the same shit that other beautiful bitches are taught to want, because my beauty was only uplifted by my mom. It was not uplifted by society. Like I literally thought I was ugly, and that's why people were mean to me all the way up until I was like 30, and then I realized, oh no, I'm beautiful. And so like I just sat up here and was just like, I just sit up here and I just don't feel like interacting, because like that shit is fucking annoying to have somebody like assume things about you and shit. So like, it's nice to be beautiful, like I said, but it doesn't really get me the things that I want. Like I'm not married, nor do I have a kid. Like I can get a nigga if I wanted to, like if I wanted to just like fuck, or if I wanted some money, or if I wanted to manipulate a nigga to do shit for me. Like, but I'm not mean and fucked up like that. So it's that I see that as pointless, and I don't want to just fuck random niggas. That's gross. You get diseases like that. And the way that he's gutting the healthcare, I'm not getting no motherfucking diseases, and then he takes away my motherfucking insurance or some stupid shit. I don't fucking know what this nigga's capable of. And so like, me being pretty, like, what does it get me? One time when I was at Popeyes, the drive-through nigga thought I was pretty and gave me extra chicken wings. Like it does, because I live in Southern California, so being a black woman and being beautiful is like you don't get niggas. Like they don't come up to you and like offer to buy you drinks and shit like that. They just stand there and stare at you. So I get a lot of niggas staring at me and shit. They don't talk to me. They don't try to have any type of conversation with me, and it's fucking annoying. It's weird. It's like that's the evolved version of them college niggas that used to stand up against the wall and want bitches to come up to them. And they say like niggas in the South actually like black women and they come up to them and talk to them and shit, but like, whatever. And so niggas don't come up and talk to me, right? So I get niggas staring at me and shit or whatever, but like niggas will open doors for me and stuff. But I don't really go out of my way to get shit from niggas or nobody. So I don't know. Like I notice that people are a little bit nicer to me when I'm at a restaurant or at the store or something, or people be staring at me hella hard and shit. Like, no, but I'm still not married with children. So I just like, it's nice to be pretty. Like that's why I do photography, because I know, that's why I do self-portraits, because I know I'm beautiful. And so I'm the art, bitch. Like I'm the art. Like I am a piece of art, right? And so like, even if my whole face burned off, I would still feel beautiful, and I would create beautiful art with a burnt off face, and it would be magical, and you would have to suffer through or stay off my fucking Instagram. Because I know I'm beautiful from the inside out and shit. So it don't matter what happens to the outside. I'm still beautiful. I'm beautiful. And I'm not conceited into where I feel like, oh, I'm better than, no, like everybody should feel that way. Everybody, because once you know that you're beautiful, you start pouring into yourself in a different way, and you start polishing the gem and shit, and it's a magical experience when you polish the gem. But no, like that's not social anxiety though. That's me just being tired of people assuming shit about me. Like, and so I don't tend to engage as much as I probably should to like make friends and find a husband. I'm not finding. God's gonna send me my miracle man because I'm tired. These niggas are crazy. And so, but that's not social anxiety. That's just me being tired. And like I said, Gregory doesn't have social anxiety. He can talk to people, interact with people and stuff like that. And he can engage people in conversations and stuff. He just likes to sometimes be by himself and isolate in his own peaceful way and do his, fixation things and shit like that. And there's nothing wrong with it. But like Janine is like she's like me, like in this episode, because the way that I will eat up an hors d'oeuvre. I'll be saying horse divorce, because I can't see that word spelled out. Because when I see it spelled out in my brain, I say horse divorce, even though it's hors d'oeuvres, whatever. And so the way I will mow down some hors d'oeuvres and shit, them little tasty treats, and they had to little balls that were full of like, real crab meat and shit, is magical. And I was just like, yes, girl, eat all of it. And so but anyway, so Janine wants to go to this restaurant, right? We're all over the place today. If you can piece it together, that's great. If you can't, I don't know what to tell you, girl. Skip to some other shit. But anyways, Janine is like, her friend canceled on her. So Barbara's over there like trying to get Gregory to say, like, Gregory, ask her to go to the restaurant. Da 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 da. And so, like, he tells Janine that he wants to go to the restaurant with her. And Janine's like, but the restaurant, it has ingredients, and you're not going to like it, and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm just sitting here like, I don't care if you eat. As long as you sitting there with me, I'm going to eat. I mean, if you don't eat what the main course at the restaurant and all you get off the menu is a cheat, I don't give a fuck. Like, why is that a big deal? Like, I'm not that picky about the people that I'm hanging out with doing the same thing that I'm doing. Just because, we're at the same place. Like, you don't have to eat the stuff here. Like, just sit here with me and watch me be beautiful and eat. You can order the cheeseburger with only meat and bread and, no cheese. And you can eat that, and I'm going to eat what I ate. What I got me, some lamb chops and some wine vinaigrette, and we can have a good time. I don't understand why it's a big deal. I would have brought him with me from jump. Like, what's the problem? And I would have looked at the menu and been like, yep, they got chicken nuggets. Gregory, let's go to this restaurant and shit. I want to go. They got chicken nuggets. You can eat that and shit. You be like, I don't. No, they got chicken nuggets. You like chicken nuggets? They got a kids menu and shit. You like that. You like chicken nuggets, honey. They got cheeseburgers and shit. I could tell them to make the pasta with just butter for you. Just for you. Just come with me. And his ass would have came with me because I said so. So I didn't really understand what the big deal was, because I'm not like that. I would have just invited him and he would have ate some chicken nuggets off the little children's menu while I sat there and ate like probably 3 courses of some different shit, trying shit. He's still gonna pay my bill though, because I'm dating a wealthy nigga. And okay, if all you ate was some chicken nuggets, nigga, you're gonna pay for all of the shit that I just ordered because, I said so. What? You gotta know yourself. You gotta know what you want. So anyways, I didn't see what the big deal was. I was just like, why didn't you invite him in the first place? Every restaurant, the fanciest restaurants. I've been to crustaceans, bitch. I mean, like, I've been to nice restaurants in Beverly Hills and shit. Every restaurant that's nice that I've been to has always had some simple shit on it. Like, especially like some simple shit like garlic butter pasta and shit. Like crustaceans has garlic butter pasta as a fucking appetizer and shit, nigga. Like if you got some sensory issues, you can just eat that. Garlic butter and pasta, simple. Keep it simple. Probably some pepper in there and shit. Like I didn't see, but she one of them people that you gotta eat what I eat, and you gotta eat when I eat, and when you eat, I gotta eat, and I don't. Wait a minute. I am kind of that bitch that when you eat, I eat though. Like you got yourself some food, and you didn't give me no food. You got yourself some food, and you didn't think about me. You just said I'm just gonna stop and get me something to eat on the way over here, but I'm not gonna get her nothing. Why are you coming over here then? No, because like you selfish motherfucker, you. Like I would get you some food. If I'm getting food, I'm gonna get you some fucking food, bitch. That's selfish. That is pure D selfish. I don't care what you're talking about. I don't care how you feel. That's selfish. No, we love each other. We love each other. So you're supposed to bring me food when you get food, nigga. And so, like, she one of them people that you gotta eat when I eat, and you gotta blah 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 when I blah 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 because we gotta do this shit together or some shit. I don't know. I don't see what the big deal is. Like, he's still eating. Like, there's cheeseburgers. But he said he's gonna go to the restaurant with her or whatever, even though there's nothing on the menu. So they get to the little golf situation with the kids. And Janine just chowing down on all things, and she just like sucking up this Arnold Palmer shit. And I was just like, oh, she's a juice girl too, bitch. You know how much of a juice bitch I am. I have been sucking juice up like water since I was a baby. Like I have my special juice cup that I got from Vegas that I got from the Mirage. It has like a little straw on the top and shit, and I fill it up with like my little juice concoctions. I be putting Sprite and the little like what is it, Kool-Aid squeezer in there with the Sprite. It's magically delicious. I've been a juice girl, so I understood her drinking 17 Arnold Palmers, bitch, because I would have done this. I was like, oh, these are free? Look how big this cup of juice is. Oh, I would have been sucking that shit down the whole time I was there. Like, this is free food, free juice. Like, we in it to win it, bitch. I don't care. I love juice. Juice is magical. Juice, soda is bad. Soda's bad, but I try to just stick to Sprite because you can just put like the Kool-Aid squeezer in the Sprite, and it can be any flavor juice, a Sprite. You be having an orange Fanta, but it's just like Sprite with some Kool-Aid in it. So I felt that. I didn't care. I felt that. But anyway, so she's sucking down this juice. And then Barbara trying to like give Gregory exposure therapy or whatever by having him try these random food. When people have sensory eating disorders and shit, you don't expose them by feeding them like fancy foods. We start off with like one ingredient foods, like a carrot. Let's try a carrot. An apple. It's like them niggas on TikTok whose girlfriends like try to like teach them how to eat better because they have sensory eating issues and stuff, and so their girlfriends will try to make them like things that they could try, and then they'll try it and see if they like it and stuff. And sometimes they like it, sometimes they don't. And that's what also too, like people think that autism is like this rigid thing. Like, oh, you have a fixation. That fixation will never no, fixations change all the time. And like shit like social cues and stuff, all you got to do is put the person in the other person's shoes. That's what I be doing with my autistic clients. I be like, so I know what you meant when you said that because you explained what you meant in this session, but other people don't know what you meant. So let me reverse it back to you. So if I said this to you in the way that you said it to me, how would that make you feel? And then when I say it back to them in the way that they said it to me, they'd be like, oh, I didn't know that hurt their feelings. That's another reason I knew that he was autistic, because basically the way they help him understand social cues is by putting him in the other person's shoes. And that's the same thing I do in my sessions with my clients. when they're autistic and they don't get it. So no, they can learn and change and grow and evolve and things like that. They're not rigid to a fault where like, oh, this for the rest of their lives they can only eat string beans and they can only wear this one sweater all the time. No, you just got to work with them on like slowly easing into other things. Like they only wear this one sweater all the time, but maybe we try this one sweater in a different color. Maybe we try other shirts that have a similar material, but it's not that exact. Isn't a sweater. It's like a tank top or some shit, but it has a similar material, shit like that. And they can be eased into other things and habituated and get used to. Like, it's not some rigid shit that, and they don't have feelings or no, they have feelings and shit for people. It's just like when Gregory was buying Legos for his girlfriend and then didn't realize that it bothered her. It had to be explained to him. They just need an explanation as to why it bothered the person. And then they're like, oh shit. They be having these like meltdowns and shit. These existential crises and shit because they realized that they didn't do that just one time. They did that like 15 times to 15 different people, and no wonder Johnny doesn't talk to me anymore. Like when you have like comorbidities like autism with like sociopathies, that's like double fixation on some evil shit. Like you can have that, but like no, it's not the same thing as being just autistic and like not understanding how something is affecting someone else until it's explained to you. But people don't be taking the time to explain it in the right way to people that got that shit. So they just be, why don't nobody like me and blah blah blah, why are people mad at me? Like when he was trying to teach them students and the students was like failing, and then he had to be told by Barbara like, well, when one kid is having a hard time, I think it's the one kid that needs the help. But when all the kids are having a hard time, then we have to look at the teacher. And then he was like, oh, well, I would like to understand if there's anything that I am doing wrong and that I could get help. And then they had to teach him how to be more fun with the kids and not take their recess away so that they can do math all day until they get it. Like, because he didn't know that was affecting them like that. He didn't know that was hurting them. He just was like, no, you're going to do this till you get it. Like, what's the problem? Like, so people be mistaking that shit like, oh, you have to be rigid and you gotta stay like this forever, and they're evil people. And I don't fuck they're not. Like, you might be autistic. You don't fucking know, bitch. Shut up. Are you an evil person? They're just regular folks with a different type of brain. That's all. And sometimes that brain can make you into a billionaire and shit. Look at Elon Musk, a trillionaire devil. See, he's an incel that hyperfixated on incel and sociopathy and all of that shit. It's a choice. You choose to, stay in this space when people explain it to you and you still don't give a fuck. Most autistic people give a fuck because they don't want to hurt people's feelings, and so they'll actively try to change. But people that are fixated on sociopathy and incel and narcissism and shit, they don't give a fuck that it hurts other people. They're gonna stay that way. See the difference? Yep. Imagine if he was like a nice, decent human being and just took that money and gave it back to the rest of the country and bought houses and paid bills for people, and he would still be a fucking billionaire and shit. He don't need that much money. He's just a sad individual who was bullied in high school and wants to feel superior to everybody else in the world because that hurt little boy inside feels like a piece of shit all the time. But actually, you just keep making yourself look more and more like a piece of shit, so nobody really like you. And what happens is, because you think fear is power, you not checking for your fucking ops, because fear creates ops, honey. And eventually one of them niggas that are afraid of you and so are pretending to be nice to you, they're gonna stab you in the back like Brutus did Caesar, bitch. Like, no, that's why you can't be fear mongering as leadership, because you're creating ops that will eventually take you out eventually because they're tired of you fucking with them. But because you don't want to see people as having feelings or emotions and stuff like that, and you don't care about how you affect other people, you ain't never gonna see that shit coming, bitch. No, it don't. No, because there's more of people in the world than you. And this nigga Trump fucking with the FBI and shit, and investigating the FBI agents that investigated the January 6th niggas and shit. And I'm just like, so you are fucking with the police. You are fucking with the people that's supposed to make sure you don't get assassinated. Okay, girl. You do you, boo. You do. Keep doing. No, I don't want to deter. I don't. Keep fucking with the police, love. Keep taking away they shit. You already took the veteran shit away. You already trying to anyway. So keep fucking with the police. Keep fucking with the people that be black ops and snipers, and you keep fucking with them people. Keep on keeping on, because some of the veterans are former black ops and former snipers and former CIA agents, and you fucking with their benefits and they peace after having to work in this hard ass field and do horrible things that they are traumatized from. You fucking with their ability to have peace after that. And so, keep fucking with those people. Keep on fucking with them people. Right. So, just because you autistic don't mean you evil or some stupid shit. Those people choose to be evil. You can make a choice, you don't stay fixated and you don't stay rigid on the same thing forever. You can learn to evolve and change and get fixated and rigid on multiple things. Like how I'm very rigid and fixated on photography. That's just some shit I like to do. I will not be deterred from that. I've been doing that shit since I was 15, and then some nigga came into my life and traumatized me to where I was unmotivated to do it for a while, and then I just started picking it back up when I started traveling in 2019 and shit. And I ain't putting it down. I challenge myself every week to do a shoot just to keep my shit fresh. Especially when I travel. That's when I go off. When I travel, I make sure to do a shoot every fucking day when I travel. Edit it, post it every fucking day. It's so fun. Oh my God, I'm so beautiful. Oh my God. I want to travel, baby. I want to travel so bad. He took it away from me, nigga. He took it away from me. I don't want to crash. I have a life that's important to me. So anyways, they had this golf course. I don't know. I don't like golf. My uncle liked golf when I was a kid, and he used to try to teach me how to play golf, and it was boring. And then I learned later on, like when I was seeing male clients, that golf is it's literally like their meditation. And then niggas don't realize that they're meditating when they're playing golf or fishing or whatever. But when you listen to them describe the feeling of it, like, oh, you're just in the zone. It's so zen and da-da-da. Bitch, you're meditating. That's mindfulness, love. Is mindfulness. This golf course, and Barbara's trying to exposure therapy Gregory into eating random shit that he don't like. And so she finally asked him, like, what's with this eating thing? And he's like, I was traumatized and my dad separated my food and blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, that's not just what's going on. But yes, that's a part of it. And therapy. Therapy. Oh, I don't even know what beat that is, what I was doing. This Stella Rosa be hitting though. Like, I'm gonna drink this for the next few weeks. Fuck all that milk shit. Oh my gosh. And then Janine notices that the leader of the boss of the place is like doing weird shit. Like he's interviewing the children and shit. And my thing was like, okay, when you do shit like that with kids, there needs to be a release, right? But they took shit from them, for the school. So if they say something about needing a release for the kid, but okay, there's a release for taking kids off campus for field trips, right? But I don't know if the golf course gave a release that said anything about filming or anything of the children with on their property. It was never talked about or shown. See, they be doing shit like talking about doing drugs and shit in front of the principal and everything. Like in real life, you couldn't be fired. They just be doing shit, and you just be like, you just posted children without a release online. Their parents could sue, but we're trying to keep this wholesome and happy, and the plot holes don't matter. This is a different dimension where you could do shit like that and keep things wholesome and happy. So they basically confront this nigga, and he's like, oh yeah, it's a charity, and Ava's mad, everybody's mad and shit like that, right? Oh, and then earlier, just because this is a part of it, earlier Barbara finally sits, like when she sits Gregory down, like to talk about what he went through, she came with a bowl of buttered noodles and shit, and he thought it was just buttered noodles, right? He ate some, but come to find out it's these like $4,000 truffles in the noodles and shit. Now I want to try $4,000 truffles. I was seeing online, they was putting caviar and shit on chicken nuggets and random shit and stuff, and I was just like, I've never had caviar, because I don't know, like, because if it tastes too seawatery and fishy, I'm not gonna like it. It's like sea moss. It's like, I tried to do the jellified sea, girl, it makes me gag every time. It tastes like rotten fish. So I ended up just going with the powder and the pills. There's sea moss powder and pills for those who don't like jellified rotten fish taste. But now I'm curious to try it and see what it tastes like. But anyway, so there were the truffles in there, and he realized that he liked the truffles, so he was slowly being integrated into exposing himself to different types of food. And so they're in the dude's office, and they're like, okay, so since you filming the kids and putting them on your thing, we want a free golf club for the kids at our school, right? First dude's like, no, I'm not gonna give you a free golf club. So then Gregory over here just starts to like gobble down one of the $4,000, whatchamacallits, and just, it was weird. And he was like, no, don't eat my $4,000 mushrooms situations. And so he gives them the little situation with the children's club. And then Ava and Melissa, bad bitches. I was like, why haven't they connected these two before? Because they're both shiesty. Why haven't we seen them do a heist together before? Why haven't we seen them? Why did Melissa this whole time be rolling her eyes at Ava this whole time when Ava was doing like shiesty hood rat shit, when Melissa's the same type of bitch? Like, no, this should have been happening already from the beginning then. This should have been like an already from the beginning situation. Like, I want to know, where are my glasses at? I want to know why they ain't already put these two together. I want a whole episode with them doing some shit. Like, just doing some shicey shit. I need a whole episode with it now. Like, y'all got to do it. And so they were like, catch this plan, because the dude had put out these $4,000 truffles, and they was like, be ashamed if somebody stole it. Yeah, be ashamed if somebody, ain't nobody really watching it like that. Like, it's just sitting there all out it is just sitting all out there out in the open, Ocean's 11 and shit like that. And they plotted this thing to steal these mushrooms. And then that's how Gregory ended up eating the mushroom in the office, because Melissa used the mushrooms as a threat against the manager of the place, and was like, no, if you don't give us a thing, we're gonna eat all these mushrooms and shit. I don't know, it's $4,000. That place probably costs a few million to build. So I'm just like, wouldn't $4,000 be chump change to this nigga? But whatever, girl, I don't fucking know. He agrees, and that's, this is a different dimension, and so that's what we're gonna go with. What? It's like $4 to rich people, like, for real. So I thought that was amazing. It was magical. They need to come together and create and do magical things together. Okay, what else? Oh, and then the little boy from the last episode that looked depressed and shit, right? So he's looking all excited about golf. He's like, golf is nice. And I was just like, see, meditation. Mindfulness, coping skills. And so Jacob's just like, oh my gosh, he's finally happy and blah, 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 blah. So that's why Jacob was also pushing for the golf club too, because he actually was the front man for it. He was able to get this golf club so that this kid would have an activity to do to help him, like, feel better and shit, right? And so everybody was like, oh, that's great, Jacob. And then Jacob finally said the thing without saying the thing, like, oh, golf is great, but that's not the only thing he needs. There's so much more going on with him, and I can't be the only one to work with him. And I was waiting for him to be like, so we're gonna invite a therapist in? We're gonna bring a school-based are we bringing a school-based therapist? He didn't say therapist, but he acknowledged that this child needs more help than what he's able to give. And that was it. It ended. I don't know. What? Every time they do some shit that could easily be solved with therapy, I just feel a type of way. I just be like, especially now you involving the kids having mental health issues and shit, possibly, maybe. And you just like, is that it? Like, you gave him golf and shit. That's great. That's wonderful. But y'all just acknowledge that he needs more than golf and shit. But like, we're still not talking about contracting with a behavioral health company. What is it? A school-based organization, something that contracts with the school district so that these children can have therapy and shit. Because their Medicare, for as long as we still have it and he doesn't take it away, will pay for that. Will pay that company most of it. Like, I don't know if the school district actually, how much, we didn't get it. I wasn't the CEO of that fucking I don't know how it works, but I just know Medicare, Medi-Cal, Medicaid pays for the students to see the therapist and stuff. So yeah, I just, at least they acknowledged he needed more help than just the golf club. But whatever, nigga. It's baby steps. We even mentioned exposure therapy. Barbara's not a therapist, though. That's why she was trying to shovel ceviche and watermelon down his fucking throat. And I was just like, girl, if you don't start off with a fucking grape or something, like, go get him a slice of orange, like a simple, like a cucumber. Why are we starting off with these exotical foods with various different flavors and shit? And then finally Gregory and Janine go to the restaurant and shit and is eating the Parisian food, and neither of them like it. And I'm just like, it's just lamb chop and wine sauce, and how do you not like garlic prawns? No, she was up there like, he was like, I love the lamb chop and the blood. And she was like, it's not blood, it's wine. And I love the da-da-da, and I love the da-da-da. And then he said garlic prawns. And then she's like, I don't like this. Can we go? And he was like, I hated it too. I just like truffles. And she was like, oh, the $4,000 truffles and shit. Maybe Melissa pocketed one more. He can just eat that sparingly with buttered noodles at his house or some shit. I don't fucking know. But I was just like, why? What's wrong with butter? You know what? You know what? Everybody has different tastes and things, and what's wrong with buttered prawns? And like, lamb chop is like it's just lamb chop and wine sauce. Like, shut up, girl. Like, my mom would take me to different places to eat, and she expanded my palate so much as a child. Like, I remember going on a family trip and eating liver and onions because I saw it on Ren and Stimpy one time. It's some shit. And I ordered that shit. Now she let me order it too. She was like, you ain't gonna like it. I was like, I want to try it. I seen it on the cartoon. I want to see if it tastes good. And the shit tasted like paste. Like meat paste. Like, you bit into it and it mushed in your mouth. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And so I just ate the onions off the top and was like, is there any more bread? Man, she had to spend money on that shit. I wanted to try it, but she would let me do shit like she would let me try different foods. So I've had an extended palate for a long time. I just don't like cooking. And like I said before, cooking is an art that you pour your soul into. And that's not my medium. That isn't, but I sure do appreciate when somebody cooks for me and makes it taste delicious. I went to this Jamaican restaurant over here the other day. I need to go back, but it was hella people in there. It took like an hour and a half for me to get my food, but it was delicious. The Caribbeans, if it takes a long time, that means the food is gonna be magical. Magically, even the chicken wings was. I told them to fry it hard too, and it was just, I don't like slimy chicken. That's nasty. I call that place the Meats. That's not the name of the place, but I call it the Meats because they got the meats. I got this ribeye that they sliced into these strips and shit. Oh God, it tasted like heaven, and then it was on top of these mashed potatoes, and it was like the liquids from the ribeye had leaked into the mash, so the mashed potatoes tasted like the ribeye, and I vacuumed that shit up. It was so good, and I want to go back, but they only open from like 1:30 to 6 p.m. and like the line is hella long, and you got to get there when it opens, and it's like far and shit, and I'm just like, I'm gonna have to just go. I'm gonna just have to go and just eat it. God, it was so good. Just thinking about it, that's what I mean. God give me a cooking nigga, I'll take care of you. What you want me to do for you, babe? You make me some food that tastes good enough for me to stop and stare and just think about it and still reminisce the taste of it in my mouth when it's gone. Like, I will suck your dick to the moon and back. Like, what do you want me to do? I don't care. Girl, food is sexual to me. Like, it turns on things in my body when it tastes good. And that motherfucking shit at that Jamaican restaurant, because I like Caribbean food, but I've always been a carnivore. Like, I don't like rice. I don't like beans. I've never liked rice. Like, the only time I'll eat rice is sometimes I'll eat white rice with soy sauce on it. I don't know where I got that from. I don't know. And then I won't eat all the rice. I'll just eat a few scoopsfuls and then throw the rest away. Like, I don't like rice. Like, people in different cultures, they love rice. I just be looking at them when they talk about rice, and I'll be like, rice. This be tasting like little maggots in my mouth. Like, I don't like it. Like, so, like, other Caribbean places, they don't be giving you enough meat and shit, and they just be giving you like the cabbage. Like, that's good, but like, it don't fill you up. It's just like an appetite. What am I supposed to do with this? And then they give you like 3 oxtails and shit, and then once the oxtails gone, I got this big ass thing full of rice and peas and cabbage, and I'm just looking at it like, I don't want this. No, my mom said when I was a kid, she was like, I had you on an all vegetable diet as a baby, and then one day your auntie snuck you some ribs, and then you refused to eat vegetables ever. That's how you think I be. I looked at my herbs that I be taking. Someone asked me to screenshot the herbs that I take and send it to them, right? And so I went on the thing. I get them off of Amazon. I still go on Amazon. I'm tired. I don't know what you want me to do. Make the black Amazon so I can have the black people things and stuff. I went on Amazon and I screenshotted all the herbs that I take, and I take like 20 herbs and powders. That's why. And there's specific herbs, specific powders that you can't just go to vitamin store and get. Like, they only sell it on Amazon because it's only online or some stupid. And I don't care what you're talking about, because they run out in like 30 days and I need a refill and I want it the next day because my body starts acting up when I don't have it. It does. And so I was just like, I take 20 of these things. Damn. I be healthy though. I be eating bad and it just be going in and out. And I be taking them twice a day. So it's like I'm getting my herbs and my vitamins twice a day because I take 20 different things. Getting my vegetables. I eat vegetables and fruit and shit. I'm just more leaning towards the carnivore side. So a lot of Caribbean places don't give you enough meat, okay? So I don't be liking to order Caribbean food a lot because, like, I don't want this big ass thing of rice and peas and cabbage and 3 oxtails. But this place, y'all, the appetizers were good. And they didn't give you rice and peas. They gave you like macaroni and cheese and like what is it and cabbage, and the macaroni and cheese was delicious. No, they gave you macaroni and cheese and broccoli, and then you can mix the broccoli with the macaroni and cheese, and it was delicious the way they seasoned it. Like that let me know that there's ways that you can season food that you don't usually eat and make them taste magical. And I'm just like, nigga, yeah, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back, and this time, this is a place, this is a spot. I'll get 4 different plates just to have leftovers to eat later, because I'm gonna be eat. They give you so much of the meats, and it is so delicious. And so yeah, I was just looking at them like they were fucking crazy. I was like, "What's wrong with lamb chops? Y'all ain't never had lamb? They're no, you lamb. Oh God, lamb chops. If you get them from anywhere, they're gonna be $20. But if you eat Indian food, you can get lamb chops for like $15 and shit. I don't know. They were where I was when I was in my 20s and I was poor and shit. Did I eat? I still spent money and got me some lamb because I like to eat. Like I was still gonna spend some money on some food. So I don't know. I was like, maybe they didn't like the wine vinaigrette, because sometimes I don't like wine vinaigrette because I like when my meat is a little sweet and stuff. And wine vinaigrette be tasting winey and shit. And like, I like buttery tasting. I like sweet tasting. And like a mix between the two. Garlic is good, onions, but like I'll go back to that place. It's a magical place. Yes, Lord. The meats. Anyways, I don't know, I went off on a tangent, multiple tangents. Like I said, you can piece this shit together. I'm just trying to figure out if I can travel. Piece this shit together. But I hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know what you think, and later days.